Hello everybody. Super windy here. There's rainstorms around. It's solstice eve maybe. I believe this winter solstice is tomorrow. It was colder than normal for about a month. And then about a week ago, wow, I'm back in. No shoes, just like I like to be. And, oh, I can smell the golf. It smells so good. I had this great vision the other day. Sometimes I like to, I often meditate, or I call them kind of vision quests or journeys. I don't know what everybody calls their thing. I think everybody's thing is different. Anyways, when I look up into the sky, I see whales and dolphins and skates and jellyfish and all kinds of fish. I couldn't begin to name all the fish and the critters and creatures and beings, sentient beings that live in the water. And they're just swimming around right above me. They don't even pay attention to it. It's like I'm not even here. And it's very real to me, and I'm not scared at all or anything. But anyways. But the other day, I had a different one. It was just like pearls, but bubbles, like pearlescent bubbles, and just tiny, tiny little pearlescent bubbles, like about the size of a pearl, a decent sized pearl. And just, it was filled, everything. It was like, there was the only space between, it was, you were touching these little bubbles everywhere around you. And they were just beautiful and soothing. And dolphins were in there swimming around. And people were just walking around in there. And it was as though we had came to a common space to meet, to interact and get to know each other, even though, normally dolphins live in the water, right? I know they're mammals and they breathe air and all that, but they're not normally just hanging out on land. But in this vision quest, that's what was going on. And they were so happy. They were jumping. I mean, it's really hard to express the nuances of a vision. Anyways, that was very, very exciting. I feel very close to dolphins. I like to kayak. Not too long ago, well, 5 or 6 years ago, 5 years ago, time, ugh. I was kayaking, and I like to kayak in this one creek called Graham Creek. It's beautiful, very small, and but I don't want to do it in the summer because down here there's lots of alligators, and that's their area, and I don't want to interrupt them when they're busy. But when the weather gets colder, of course they get slower, and it's okay to go back there. They're not really worried about you, or it's just they're out of season for being grouchy. Anyways, we're kayaking, and I have this kayak, I call it Jelly Bean. So me and Jelly Bean are kayaking along, and I noticed to my left there was like a little inlet, just a small one, and there was a gator. And he was in the water, and he was looking at me, and he kind of slowly turned to me, and I started just talking to him and going, I'm just going to back up now, stuff like that. And of course, wow, I'm on their level. I'm literally, when you're in the kayak, I feel like I am the boat. And also when I'm in the kayak, I feel the most connected to everything on the planet. Well, I used to feel that way. Now I've connected in different ways. I've kind of moved on. But it's one of those times when I feel so at peace and connected to all things because we're all water. And then I'm floating. It's just a lovely feeling. Back to my story about meeting the dolphins. So you wind, and, there's lots of, like, pelicans and ospreys, which are a type of hawk, but they like to nest near the water. Beautiful, beautiful, magnificent beings all over the place. And we're winding through. It's a pretty good paddle. And the grasslands, turtles, just beautiful. And it starts opening up and getting deeper, and current, and that'll take you out to this other bigger bay, which would eventually take you out to the Gulf of Mexico. So anyways, I'm getting out to the more open, more deeper areas, not so tight, and this big wave of water is coming right towards me, but to the side, like to the side of my boat. So this giant wave, and I look, and I'm like, what is that? You know, there should not be a wave here. 3 dolphins are hunting, and they're coming right at me. So I wish I had another hand. The 3 dolphins are coming, and they're making this big mound of water, and it just like, I'm just like, ah. And the water just comes, and they just like whoosh me. Okay, I get whooshed by these dolphins, and they go under me real quick, and they are big. They're not tiny little critters, you know. It's not like a lizard or a frog. These are giant. And the water was cold, and I didn't want to get in. I didn't think the dolphins were going to hurt me. I was just more annoyed, like when your little brother tries to dunk you in the pool or something. Anyways, it was pretty funny. And they did it. They kept circling me, and there must have been a bunch of little fish down there, because what a dolphin does is they create these bubbles and these circles around. So they were encircling me with these bubbles, and then they trap the fish inside like this bubble net, and then they all go in and they eat. And then they go off, and they just kind of herd and then use bubbles. And I don't know if they knew I was there or whatever. So, dolphins. My dolphin encounter. Anyways, I got very excited talking about the dolphins. We were talking about my visions. Anyways, I'm very excited. And I feel the energy. I feel the love. I feel the connections. I see it moving into my highest joy, easy button, golden era of Gaia timeline. Perfect, beautiful harmony and love. You know, my 5D is just, I'm seeing it more and more every day, and I'd like to thank everyone who helped me along on my path. I'm totally grateful. Namaste.